Hello, welcome to another episode of our live stream, My Journey to the Trinity. My name is Hussein. Happy to be with you. Happy to be with me. I don't know what I did there. I did something weird. I've been having trouble lately starting these programs correctly. I've been, rather than starting them, I've been ending them and having to start all over again. So, anyway, hello. Excuse me. Hello, Howdy, Mad Tuna, Daughter Galatians, and Jack Ray. God bless you all. And StreamYard. Muhammad was the first Shakespeare. Absolutely. Um, Sheikh, Shakespeare. So, yeah, today I was just thinking of doing something about one of the major poets that Muhammad plagiarized. Muhammad plagiarized a lot. In fact, even Allah in the Quran says that the people call him the ear. You know, he just hears something and end up in the Quran the next day. And so here's one verse. It says, "And they say these revelations are only ancient fables, which he has written down, and they are rehearsed to him morning and evening." You know, there's actually a story that's actually true. And the one who used to recite these stories to him, according to a fairly reliable source, was Buhaira al-Rahib, the monk Buhaira, who is also believed to be Muhammad's real father. Uh, Remember when Muhammad's mother gave birth? Well, first of all, when she found out she was pregnant, a light went from her parts all the way to Basra, Syria. And then when Muhammad was born, the light shone again all the way to Basra, Syria. So from this, we can conclude that there was something going on between Amina, Muhammad's mother, and somebody in Basra, Syria. And that who lived in Basra, Syria? The monk Buhaira, who happened to be in Arabia um, about 9 months earlier. He wrote about his experiences there and about his time in Arabia. And he was a heretic monk, a monk who was an Assyrian monk. He became a heretic. Oh, excuse me. He became a heretic because he started getting into some kind of Arian and weird Nestorian theology, and so he kind of messed up and was kind of excommunicated from the Assyrian church. And like most heretics of that day, he was exiled to Arabia. That's where all the heretics landed up. All the heretics were cast out of Christendom into Arabia. And so he ended up there, met young Amina. Somehow they came to know each other, and it is believed by some, including Father Zechariah, that he actually is Muhammad's father, because, as you know, the traditional tale is that Muhammad's father died. Muhammad's father was called Abdullah, which means slave of Allah. How that could be before there was an Allah or an Islam, but it was. And but he died 4 years before Muhammad was born. And so the usual excuse as to why Muhammad was born 4 years later is that Muhammad's mother was pregnant for 4 years. Now, this was not uncommon among the Arabs. There are many women, according to all 4 schools of Islam, Hanbali, Shafi'i, Maliki, and Hanafi, Hanbali, Shafi'i, Maliki. Those are the 4 major schools of Sunni Islam. According to all of them, the women can be pregnant for 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. They can be pregnant for that long. And so it wasn't an uncommon thing that Muhammad's mother be pregnant for 4 years, to where Muhammad was born 4 years after his father died. But if you're decide to come back down to planet Earth and face facts, she probably had an affair with the monk Buhaira, and that's why the light went from her to Buhaira's monastery in Basra, Syria, and then oops, sorry. This is my iPad. I really like my iPad. I just need to learn new ways to use it, to be more diligent in my use of it. But so anyway, so there's something to this when it says these are revelations, are ancient fables, which he has written down, and they are rehearsed to him morning and evening. Interesting thing about this is that he wrote them down. But they existed before him. They're ancient fables. And then they are rehearsed to him, meaning somebody is saying them to him, he's memorizing them, and he's writing them down. So maybe they weren't written down yet. They were just oral poems. I'm not sure exactly. But here's another one. It says, and we surely know that they say, no one is teaching him except a human. But the man they refer to speaks a foreign tongue, whereas the Quran is in eloquent Arabic. So there was a particular man that they were referring to. There was a particular man that they were referring to that they believed was giving Muhammad these tales, and Muhammad was translating them into Arabic. In a sense, he was a translator. So he would get them from this foreign person. Who's this foreign person? I don't think it would be Waraka bin Nawfal, who was probably dead by now because he died early in Muhammad's alleged prophethood. And it's someone who's foreign. So I'm leaning on this verse right here being about that this verse is about the monk Buhaira, his daddy. And also, Buhaira also told Khadija to marry Muhammad. Khadija told Muhammad, after they got married, she said that Buhaira, the monk, told her to marry Muhammad years earlier. So why would the monk Buhaira care about this orphan kid in Arabia? Except that maybe he wasn't an orphan, it was his son. So that's why the light went from Khadija. We could do a thing about the evidence that Buhaira is the father of Muhammad. Number one, the light. The light went from Amina to where Buhaira was in Syria when she became pregnant. The light went again to Basra, where the monk Buhaira was when she gave birth to Muhammad. Khadija says that the monk Buhaira was very interested in Muhammad and that he told her to marry Muhammad when he got old enough. She told Muhammad this. And then there's this alleged foreigner, but the man they refer to speaks a foreign tongue. This alleged foreigner who was allegedly speaking, whispering to Muhammad, kind of the prophet whisperer. I came up with that, by the way. The Quraysh what whisperer, or the desert whisperer. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, I get credit for it. Whatever, whichever one succeeds, I get credit for it. So, hey, Emmanuel, God bless you, my friend. Good to see you. And so that, so who is this whisperer the Quran is referring to? The man of a foreign tongue. I believe it's Buhaira the monk. And Father Zechariah also believes this is Buhaira the monk. And so I think you got good grounds to believe it, Buhaira the monk. If you talk to Adam Seeker, he's more on the Waraka bin Nofa being the daddy. But, you know, that would imply cousin marriage. And we know they don't do cousin marriage in Arabia. But I'm an Arab, so it's not racist for me to say this. So, okay, as an Arab, I get to say everything. And I can't be racist no matter what. I'm considered a minority. I'm considered part of the browning of America. And so no matter what I say, I'm not racist. I cannot be racist. The only people who can be racist are white Christian men. Only white Christian men can be racist. And even though I am a white Christian man, under most definitions, I'm considered brown. So I'm considered like the browning of America, MSNBC. And so anyway, that means I can't be racist. So I can say whatever I want. So I'm never racist. Anyway. Bog te blagoslovio. Amen. Ichad ana. Jeden, twa, tre, četra, pet, šeš, sedem, osem, devet, deset. Okay, that's 10 in Croatian. So let's talk a little bit about our friend here, this poet. And he was quite a poet, okay? He lived from around 526 to 565 AD, 526 to 560. So he died before Muhammad was born. Muhammad, I believe, was born 570, around 570 AD. So he died, Amr bin Qais died before Muhammad was born. But he was very well known. And what's interesting, he is from a tribe called the Kinda tribe. The Kinda tribe, and they were actually ruling Arabia. This tribe was actually ruling Arabia to where he was kind of royalty. He was kind of royalty in Arabia. You know, he's from a family that was very well respected as being royal, like, you know, Mohammed bin Salman, you know, the Saud family. You know, that's why Arabia is called Saudiya. Saudi Arabia comes from the name Saud, which is the name of the royal family, the Saud family. And so this guy was from a royal family. It's called the Kindi family. So he's very, you know, he had connections. And but his poetry was very beautiful. And I have a sample of his poetry. This is one of his poems. It says, now this is not one of the plagiarized ones, but let's go ahead and see it. Weep for me, my eyes, spill your tears, and mourn for me the vanished kings. See, the king vanished. Hajar ibn Umru's princely sons, led away to slaughter at eventide. If only they had died in combat, not in the lands of Benu Marina. No water was there to wash their fallen heads, and their skulls lie spattered with blood, pecked over by birds who tear out first the eyebrows, then the eyes. You know, very graphic and very descriptive, and you know, I mean, really nice. I mean, that's really. I could even see that being a, you know, that being a kind of a Southern ballad. You know, I mean, it's got the weep for me, my eyes, spill your tears. I mean, it's kind of got, you know, the vibe, kind of got the rhythm going there. So anyway, so that's kind of my theory there. So so anyway, so where is the Mohammedan connection? Where does it say that Muhammad stole from this guy? And Muhammad did steal from this guy. uh, it's kind of like if I was to write a song, and let me just say this. Uh, mhm. Okay. There was a famous American named Patrick Henry, and he said, "Give me liberty or give me death." He's one of the founding fathers of America. Okay, along with Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, and all of them. And he said, "Give me liberty or give me death." He said that. Now, what if I today came out and wrote a song that says, "Give me liberty or give me freedom"? Or give me, you know, uh, or give me freedom or give me death. Almost identical to what Patrick Henry said. Already so famous, so popular, very well known. And I was to say it was mine. I came up with it. And then, everybody's saying, "Hey, you're a plagiarist, you're a liar, you're a thief." And then I say, "No, no, look, I changed there's a different word. It says, give me freedom or give me death instead of give me liberty or give me death." When it was already very well known, "Give me liberty or give me death" is very well known. And so if I come along and write a song, say, "Give me freedom or give me death," everybody's going to think about Patrick Henry because it's so well known. But I'm going to keep saying, "No way, man, I didn't steal it. See, it's different." And then people who follow me are going to do the same thing. They're going to lie and say, "See, it's not the same. You just can't prove," even though it's almost identical. And that's the case with Umru bin Qais. The Muslims are just fighting, saying, "No, no, no, that wasn't stolen." And there's like a tiny bit of difference between them. But it's very clear that they were stolen. The people did, in his day, in Muhammad's day, the people recognized that it was stolen. They say these revelations are only ancient fables which have been written down, and they are rehearsed to him morning and evening. So Muhammad had a reputation. He was called the ear. He would hear something and then put it in the Quran the next day. And so this was very consistent. It was Muhammad's formula for writing the Quran. And of particular concern is Quran surah, the surah called the moon, al-Qamar. Okay, and this is the hour has drawn near. The moon was split in two. In Arab, اقترب الساعة وانشق القمر. اقترب الساعة, meaning the hour has drawn near and the moon is split. Now, Muslims today also want to further, because this verse is so ambiguous. This verse is so ambiguous. What does it mean? What does it have to do with? What they've come up with is that Muhammad split the moon with his finger. Half of it fell on one side of the mountain, half of it fell in Ali's backyard. And they really believe this. This is in the hadith, by the way. And some Muslims may not believe it, but it is still in their books. It's still in their books that the moon was, Muhammad split the moon with his finger, and then half of it fell on one side of a mountain, and the other half fell on some guy's backyard. Okay, and this is there, even though some of them say, no, no, it was split in half and then it went back together immediately. And that NASA discovered this line, the dividing line in the moon, the two halves of the moon. So anyway, the moon, because it's so ambiguous, they got 10 million understandings of what it means. The same way they have 10 million understandings of what the verse 4157, they did not kill him or crucify him, but it was made to appear so to them. There's 10 million different interpretations of what that means. Okay. And so same with this verse. The moon was split, and the hour drew near and the moon was split. In shak, the The moon was split in two. Okay. Well, that verse, um, those almost those exact same words are the first lines of a poem written by Amr bin Qais many years before Muhammad. It was already very famous. Everybody knew it already, kind of like "Give me liberty or give me death." Everybody in America knows that. So it wasn't like some hidden. It's almost like if I was to say, "Oh, I feel a prophetic verse coming to me. It's every night in my dream, I see you, I hear you. That is how I know you are mine. Near, far, wherever you are, I know the heart will go on. My heart will go on and on. Near, far, wherever you are." Yeah, and I'm saying this is my prophetic. When everybody in the country knows those are the words for the song from Titanic. Everybody in America knows it. Okay, we've heard it 10 zillion times. Okay, so it's very, very well known. And so that's kind of what Muhammad did. Okay, that's what Muhammad did. He took this poem by Ahmed bin Qais, and that was as well known as the Celine Dion song, and said that he came up with it. Okay. He says, no, 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 it's in my book, putting it in the book. Okay. You won't be able to prove it in 1400 years. Yeah. But everybody knew this guy, Ahmed bin Qais. He was like the Celine Dion of his day, very famous, very beloved, very well known. And so when Muhammad comes along and says that he wrote it, what do the people say? The people say, these revelations are only ancient fables which he has written down, and they are rehearsed to him morning and evening. The people knew that this was Muhammad was a thief. He was a plagiarist. Okay, so and then this one, no one is teaching him anything except a human. Okay, so he's hearing this from people, and this happened quite often with Muhammad. There were several poets, Arab poets, contemporary poets. There was even one who actually spoke to Muhammad, and Muhammad took his line. I mean, the guy recited a poem to Muhammad, and Muhammad put it in the Quran the next day, and it was just like, dude, it's like at least wait a week or something. But Muhammad did have memory issues. He'd forget, and Allah would make him forget sometimes to where he had to do it real fast. That's why it would end up in the Quran the next day. Uh, oh, God bless you, Emmanuel. Sorry, man, to hear. Uh, um, sorry to hear that you weren't feeling good. God bless you and heal you, brother. God bless you, man. So, anyway, but of particular concern is this right here. Let me see this. Okay, the hour has drawn near. The moon was split in two. Now, this is included, like I said, in Celine Dion's, not Celine Dion, in this Amr bin Qais' song. And let me see, is it here? Where is it? Let me show it to you. Okay, this is it right here in Arabic. Okay, it's in here in Arabic in more than one place. One is Sa'a in Shak il-Qamar. Then it is Sa'a in Shak il-Qamar. Okay, the hour arrived, the hour, and the in Shak il-Qamar, the moon was split in two. The moon was split in two. And it uses the exact in Shak Isa'a in Shak al-Qamar. Okay, now there's four words here. And okay, and there's in Arabic, in Iqtarab bis-sa'a wa Shak al-Qamar, there's four words. Okay, and here there's four words. One of the words is not in Iqtarab. This word then Dit is-sa'a, like the hour came and the moon split. But so one of the words is different. it's not in Qarab, the hour drew near. It's kind of like the hour kind of arrived and the moon split. But every other word is exactly the same. Isa'a وانشق القمر. The hour and the moon split. It is identical. It is identical. Let me just show it to you again. Okay, as I said here. Where did it go? Okay. اقترب الساعة وانشق القمر. Three of the four words are exactly the same as this. And then when you go to the poem, one more time here, at the end of the poem, again, الساعة وانشق القمر. Exactly the same words again. The hour came, the hour, and the moon split. It was a very, very well known poem. It was very well known. Everybody knew it. And then it ended up in the Quran. And it's the exact same words. Three of the four words are exact, and the meaning is the same about the moon splitting. Now, what's different is how they interpret those words. Okay, because you're saying, okay, the moon split. What does that mean exactly? What does it mean that the moon split? Okay, and in the case of the poet, he's talking about the moon splitting, like his heart, falling in love, seeing the girl that he's in love. It's a love poem. The moon split. Speaking about the love that he felt for her and how he felt like the world was kind of coming apart and everything like that. And it kind of had a love sonnet type feel to it. Okay. And so this is intended as a love song. Okay. Excuse me, to the woman that he loved. And this guy was quite the lover. He was very well known for his seducing lots of women. And so he would write these poems. And he wrote specifically seven. He had seven very well known poems. He was very well known. It's similar, you guys, to, let me use an example, like the Supremes. Some of you guys don't know them, Diana Ross and the Supremes. They were in the 60s when I was a kid, and so I'll use them as an example. Now, the most popular singers have one number one song, and they're very famous for that one number one song, and then they have lots of other songs, but that's the one song that everybody knew them for. Now, the Supremes were different. The Supremes, they had a string of number one songs. Start out with Where Did Our Love Go? Then Baby Love, then Come See About Me, Stop in the Name of Love, and what was the other one? I think it's Mama Told Me You Can't Hurry Love. But they actually had like about 12 number one hits. They were so famous. That's the way this guy was. His poems were so famous all over Arabia. And Muhammad, and he just lived before Muhammad, he died a few years before Muhammad was born. And he was so well known that, lots of people knew him. And Muhammad used his words. Muhammad used the lines of his song. Same as I Was to Come. Like, you guys know, what's a famous song that everybody would know? There's a lady who's sure all that glitters is gold and she's buying a Stairway to Heaven. Okay? Led Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven. Okay? One of the most famous songs of the 70s. Okay? And if I was to come along and say something similar, everybody would know it. But then I would put it in my holy book and say that Allah gave it to me, which is what Muhammad did. Okay? And so that's what Muhammad did. And this poet in particular, Muhammad took a lot from this guy. Let me show you some of the other verses that Muhammad took from this poem, specifically from this poem. Okay. Okay. فنادوا صاحبهم فتعاتوا فعقر. Okay. But they roused the companions of theirs, so he dared to kill her. فعقر. Okay. فنادوا صاحبهم فتعاتوا. Okay. Let's just go back to that poem again. فنادوا صحابهم فتعاتوا. I just want to go back just because I want to show you that okay. 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 نعس الطريق. This word right here, المحتضر. Okay. Again, that this word is used in this verse of the Quran. Okay. This verse, المحتضر. Let me see. I want to see the Arabic here. المحتضر. Right here. كهشين المحتضر. وحدت فكانوا كهشين المحتضر. Okay. Indeed, we sent against them only one mighty blast, leaving them like twigs of the fence builders. Okay. And it's right here. المحتضر. كهشيم المحتضر. فتركتهم. Okay. Again. Okay. فعكر. Okay. This is it right here. Okay. So okay. فتعاتوا. Okay. تعاطى. Okay. فنادوا. Okay. نعس. تعاطى. Okay. فعكر. Okay. These last two words right here. فتعاطى فعكر. Okay. Which means so he dared to kill her. It's exactly the words right here. It's excuse me, right here. فتعاطوا فعكر. Okay. Exactly the same words are used right here in this verse of the Quran. طرف بعينيه حر فرماني. Okay. فنادي. Okay. Exactly these two words here are used in his poem. Okay. This, you see, the one behind is his poem. Okay. And here is the Quran verse, and it's using the exact same words. Okay. So this is another word, another verse. Okay. And then let's look at this one. بل الساعة موعدهم الساعة أدهى وأمر. Okay. Let's see. Okay. بل الساعة موعدهم الساعة. Okay. It means, but better yet, the hour is their appointed, and the hour will be most catastrophic and bitter. Let me see. يسري في. Okay. بالضحى والليل من طريق. Okay. Let me look here. Okay. محتضر. Okay. الساعة أدهى أمر موعدهم. Okay. الساعة. Okay. So I'm seeing الليل من طرف. Okay. I'm trying to see the exact. الساعة من شق القمر. There it is. The hour. Okay. الساعة أدهى أمرا. كانت الساعة أدهى أمرا. Okay. Okay. Here it is. Okay. Right here. موعدهم. It's exactly the same word. الساعة أدهى أمرا. The hour will be most catastrophic and bitter. Okay. This is what it says in the Quran, and it is exactly كانت الساعة أدهى وأمرا. It is exactly the same words. Okay, exactly the same words in the Arabic. Okay, and uh, okay, I know if you don't know Arabic, this is like وحدة فكانوا. Okay, but these are identical. The words are identical to what is in the Arabic. In the Arabic, okay. Um, okay. So I looked at, okay, right here. تركنا كشيهم المحتضر. Exactly. فكانوا كشيهم المحتضر. Okay, leaving them like twigs of fence builders. Okay, so I mean, isn't that? I mean, that's not a phrase that you use quite often. Leaving them like twigs of fence builders. That's exactly what is written in the poem. Okay, and so there's these very not uncommon phrases in this that are repeated exactly verbatim like they are in this poem. This right here is the poem in Arabic, and these are the four verses. There are four verses in Surah Al-Qamar, the Surah of the moon, that are identical to this verse, to this poem by this man who lived, a few years before Muhammad. Okay, so this just kind of to show you that this is plagiarism. One thing I could do, even if you don't know the Arabic, I could show you. I could show you um, the way the word just fit right on top of each other because they're exactly the same. Okay, and بالضحى والليل. I just want to look at, okay, this right here. Now you get it, it's the words right under the line. Usually in English, we underline. Here they overline, meaning they put the line over the part that is the same. So let me I just want to show it to you again. It's أدهى. No, بالضحى والليل بلسان. Okay, طيب. Okay, فنادى صاحبهم. Okay, العقر. Okay, this again is over here. فعقر. Okay, this is now that I'm seeing it so clearly. It's wow. It really is amazing. It really is amazing how much Muhammad took from this poem. There's actually four verses in this surah of the Quran that are identical to the lines of this poem, including the very first line of this surah of the Quran. Okay, so yeah, so that's pretty wild. So let's see here. It is also clear that Muhammad used such pre-Islamic literature as the Sabah Mulakat of Amr ibn Qais, that's this guy, in his composition of surahs. These are the verses 2196, 2931, 46, 3759. You know what? 3759. I want to look at 3759 now because I did not include that in, okay, 3759. I did not include that in what I was 3759. It says, accept our death. إلى موتنا الأول ما نحن بمعذبين. Okay. Okay, I'm not sure exactly where this is, but I will. Let me see if it's in. Let me see. إلى موتتنا الأولى وما نحن بمعذبين. Okay, موتتنا. Okay, I'm just curious if that is in. I'm curious if that is in the poem here. Uh, okay, I don't see it here. Okay, I don't see it. Okay. So I'm not sure exactly where those are, but apparently there's other places where Muhammad has taken some. So let's look at this right here. Amr bin Qais's daughter once heard this surah recited aloud. So the daughter of this guy heard Muhammad, heard the Quran verse um, that I was just showing you from Surah Al-Qamar, the Surah of the Moon, which I believe is Surah 29. She heard it. She's the daughter of this guy. Once heard this surah recited aloud, she immediately recognized her father's poem and demanded to know how her father's verses had become part of the allegedly divine revelation, supposedly preserved on stone tablets in heaven. These are the same arguments we use today. So his daughter apparently knew that Muhammad said that his verses came from the stone tablets up in Jannah. And she's going, wait a minute. My dad wrote this. These are my dad's poems. It's like, these are my dad's poems. And they're in your holy book from this preserved tablet up in heaven. And so she was critical. Also, her grandfather, the same thing happened with her grandfather. He heard it and said, "Oh, wait a minute." The prince poet Amr bin al-Qais of the tribe of Kinda is the first major Arabic literary figure. Verses from his hanging poems, one of 7 poems prized above all others by pre-Islamic Arabs, are still in the 20th century the most famous and possibly most cited lines in all of Arabic literature. The mu'allaka is an integral part of linguistic, poetic, and cultural education of all Arabic speakers. So this guy is super, super important, even to this day, you know. Um, so, okay, let's see this right here. 4 verses from one of his poems appear in the Quran. It is said when Amr bin al-Qais' granddaughter heard the surah, this one's saying it's her granddaughter, his granddaughter, she immediately recognized the poem and demanded to know how the verse had become part of Muhammad's revelation. Okay, so yes, even from his day, Muhammad, the people around Muhammad knew that he was a plagiarist, that he was stealing from famous writers. So he saw no shame, none whatsoever. Even the Quran says that the people called him the ear, because he'd hear something and then it would be in the Quran the next day. Quran has poem, but outside the Quran, poems are haram. Maybe that challenge the Quran gives similar poems cannot be written. Similar poems can not be written. True story, man. No, she did not. She was not unalived. She was not unalived that I know of. But you know, Ahda Amram, cheeks of. Oh, by the way, yes, this verse, you know, about the moon splitting, has also come back into fashion, especially among anti-Islam apologists who are currently focusing on the topic of the Zut and that metaphorical splitting of the moon, if you would. But, you know, Muhammad plagiarized from so many different sources. He plagiarized from the Torah, plagiarized from the Gospel, plagiarized from the Gnostic Gospels, plagiarized from the Talmud, plagiarized from the Midrash, plagiarized from the, the Talmud. I mean, so many sources that he plagiarized from. and so many different poets. It's not just this poet. He plagiarized from other Arab poets as well. Zoroastrianism, yes, from the Sabians. I think no, the Sabians are more from Iraq, where the Zoroastrians are more from Iran. So I think there's a difference between them. Um, so, well, we're hoping it's not going to continue to exist. We're hoping that people are going to open their eyes and see the truth. Okay. So, well, you guys, that was kind of all I had for you tonight. Just a little bit here about this famous surah and this famous poet that Muhammad plagiarized in order to write this surah. And so, now that I look at this, you guys, I hadn't really looked at exactly the lines exactly as they are written. But when I look at it, it's just like, dude, this is absolute plagiarism. This is absolute plagiarism, especially the first line. In shaq al-qamar, as-sa'a in shaq al-qamar, the hour and the moon split. Exactly. It's recited twice in the poem, and it's recited in the Quran exactly as it is written in the Quran. So, yep. So there you have it, you guys. Stay away from Islam. Hey, it's our friend. Translated Muhammad at Mecca describes poets as possessed as, and yet he loved their writings. I can't remember the name of the poet right now, but there is one poet in particular. He actually met Muhammad. He actually met Muhammad. I mean, he's a contemporary Muhammad. This guy I'm talking about today, he was before Muhammad. But this other guy, poet, Muhammad actually met him. And the guy recited one of his poems to Muhammad. Muhammad loved it. And where do you think it ended up in the next week or the next few days? It was in the Quran the next few days later. And that's why the people called him the eater. Okay, Muhammad, and the people knew. I mean, if we're just going to look at, the two verses that we have here. There's many other verses like this, but just look at these two verses. These revelations are only ancient fables. They specifically are addressing Muhammad's alleged revelations. The Quran is saying this. They're saying that Muhammad's alleged revelations are ancient fables. Ancient fables, the meaning that they pre-existed and the people knew about them before Muhammad came along. The difference is Muhammad wrote them down. He has written down, and they are rehearsed to him morning and evening. They knew something was going on morning and evening, that there was somebody whispering to him these things. They knew it. These people were not dumb. These people were not dumb. They knew that Muhammad was not coming with anything new. Okay? And then there's this one. And we surely know that they say no one is teaching him except a human. So these guys are saying it's not an angel. It's not Allah. It's a person. But the man they refer to speaks a foreign tongue. So they knew it was a foreigner, which makes me believe it's Buhaira the monk. And the Quran is eloquent Arabic. Oh my goodness, so eloquent. Arabi Mubin. It's not really eloquent. Mubin is clear Arabic. Okay. And so they knew that Muhammad was just trying to pull the wool over their eyes. So, yes. Somebody has asked me to do one of my video poems. You guys, I've played it already 700 times. I know. Maybe I hope you guys aren't tired of it yet, but I'm going to go ahead and play my latest, which, like I said, I've played it 700 times, but because it's new, it kind of is special to me. And because my wife is kind of part of the inspiration in it. I'm going to play it, and then I'm going to end it. And please watch it to the end, because in the end it tells you to say, Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. All right.
Did you mean what you said? Did you mean what you said? Can I rest my head? Can I rest my head on your everlasting arms? 'Cause I've been hearing sounds here and all around about a friend so kind, with shoulders stronger than mine. I saw the sign, neon yellow, flash through the night just like an arrow. I saw the words, I saw the light, but I did not know what it means. Just one look at you, I started to live, and how I needed what you had to give. And in the glow of the green and the red, I understood what it said. Come unto me if you're tired and you're weak. Come unto me if you're tired and you're weak, and I